We're all together and we have power of 11. And it is 11:11. It just passed 11:11, just as we started recording. And what we're going to do today is you can sit or lie down or be seated on a chair or on a couch or even on your bed. And we're going to do the Satanama in the way that it's done in the speaking, because it's got a lot of things it does for your upper the fifth chakra at your throat. But first, we're going to bring ourselves into meditation as we breathe gratitude through the heart and fill the heart with gratitude. And we've done this on Monday. We really worked on working with being the rainbow and knowing that now we're also working with 12 chakras, but we're still going to functionally work with the understanding of red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, indigo blue, and violet. And then find your, see, I forgot to do this. Music gets quit. So find that breath and that, I'm just stopping everything that could possibly, hurt our reception. And I'm going to see if this works for you. So I'm bringing my fingertips together and my thumbs to my heart and breathing gratitude and imagining the fingers, the pinky all the way to the thumbs as the first 5 chakras. So imagining the red, and no matter where you are, feeling like you're grounded into the earth. And if you are lying down in a bed or have your feet up, then just imagine yourself and your feet on the earth somewhere, or lying down on the earth instead of on a chair or a bed or a couch, wherever you are. And then imagine gratitude, coming into the heart from all of these areas of the body, and that we can spread out the gratitude to all the cells of the body, from the feet or from the toes to the crown of the head and into the fingertips. Heart-brain coherence. And then inhale for 4, hold the breath for 7. This is called the 4-7-8 breath. Exhale for 8. Inhale for 4. Hold the breath for 7. And exhale for 8. That extended exhale just helps the limbic system calm down. It stimulates the dose chemistry. You're making biochemistry, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins simply by having an extended exhale. So inhale again through the heart, filling with gratitude, connecting brain neurons to neurites of the heart, holding the breath for 7, a count of 7, and then exhale for 8. Just push the breath all the way out. And then you can imagine gratitude through the heart, filling with the sparkles of gratitude. And imagine the number 4 as you breathe 4, and all the 4 chambers of the heart, the 4 archangels, the 4 directions, the 4 seasons, the 4 rivers, whatever 4 you can bring forward. Holding for the count of 7. And this is earth, air, fire, water, up, down, and to the center. It is earth, north, south, east, west, above us, below us, and to the center. And then exhale for 8. And then inhale. Hold. Fill, connect, sparkle. See your light, be your light. Dissolve the edges of the body for this moment and know that that's what you really are, is shimmering light. And exhale. Then thumbs to the third eye. Imagination is incredibly important right now. all those who are working towards being the light and spreading the light and changing the culture right now on the planet and helping and lift up humanity are all working with Be the Light. And use your imagination as much as you can. Be what's called the creative expressionist. Be creative in your life. You know, what choices are you going to make and how can you make them creative? Whatever that means to you. So creativity is part of that. Imagination, inspiration, be inspired to sparkle, even when you're at your darkest hour, even when you're not feeling well. So those of you feeling a little under the weather today, bring in the light and sparkle. Imagine yourself fully healed, fully feeling sparkly, strong, and know that if you spent a whole weekend doing something, you may need to recover. You know, your body, you know, took a hit of hanging in there and holding together something, and it may take, you know, it takes me often 3 to 5 days to recover from a full active weekend. So imagination, inspiration, integration, integrate everything you've learned so far to bring yourself to full, complete health. And intuition. Use your intuition from the first chakra to the seventh chakra. Then bring the hands to the heart. Namaste. You know, I honor myself and I honor I've taken out the time to do this practice. And today's practice is going to take us into a mudra series. And you start with the thumbs. And it goes like this. The first one, you speak out loud. And you use the breath and the voice to vibrate into the body. And it goes, take a deep breath in and out. And your hands can be anywhere. I'm going to have my hands so that you can see them. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa with an S, ta with a T, na with an N, ma with an M. Sa, ta, na, ma. And then you whisper it. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. And then it's in silence, but you move your mouth. And then back to sounding. Sa, ta, na, ma. Birth, life, death, rebirth. Birth, life, death, rebirth. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 And then pause for a moment. Bring your hands to the heart. Take a deep breath in. Exhale all the way. Pause for a moment. Breathing, gentle, comfortable breath. And then if your eyes are closed, gently open your eyes and just focus back on being in this moment and this presence. And find your way down to the floor. So come all the way down to the floor or to a bed or on a couch. If you haven't been down that far, like me. And have your all your equipment around you, because today's class, usually we do something standing, but I think in light of what people said and what is needed, we're going to do more on the floor, even though it's Wednesday. So come down to the floor and just find the knees into your chest. It's always a great way to start. And this lower back is a mystery. I've studied it for years, and I've gone to doctors, and I've had x-rays, and I've had all sorts of clinicians say different things. And it's just a mystery. And it's a very tender part of the body. Roll the knees in the other direction. And a lot of what I find is that one of the problems is we sit too much. But as we get older, it's sort of like we have to sit. So then it is a question of how to sit. And then pull the knees in and open the knees wide. And the other thing that I've learned is that we have to work with our backs in a lot of different ways and learn how to get the lower back totally in a restful position. And so I'm going to work with that today, along with sciatica and the pelvis, of what's going on and how does the pelvis work with sciatica, and what is going on when we have sciatica, and even when you don't have sciatica, when you have stiffness in the hips. And so we'll work with that as well. So here we're testing it out a little bit and opening the knees wide, flex the feet. And then, for those of you who want a little core, then lift the head up, and the head and neck are being strengthened, and lift the arms, let go of the arms. You can always hold onto your knees or let go. And you're just working that core a little bit. Squeeze at the pelvic floor. That's going to work the core even more. And the thing about the back is that we need a lot of core strength to help the back. And I don't even have the core strength that is really helping my back fully. So I need a little core strengthening all the time, which is why I do it with you. And then bring your head back down. Pull the right knee in and lengthen the left leg out. This is half wind relieving posture. So if you have digestive issues, just putting the knees together and pulling them in is good for the small intestine. And there's miles of, there's so many feet of small intestine in there that we also have to be savvy about what's called the MMC, the migrating motor complex, from the small intestine to the large intestine. And we really have to be understanding, the different functions of the the digestive system. And then also what happens if you've had digestive issues for a long time. So this is half wind relieving posture. Then bring the other knee in. Just hold the knee in and lengthen out the leg. And like if you're taking a walk, you can even like put your foot on to a bench or a rock or something nearby if you have something, and you can pull that knee in like that, or even onto a tree trunk or a curb or something. And you just play with what you have where you are, to know that you can do yoga anywhere. Don't limit yourself to yoga on a mat. So simple. This is simple. Then lengthen that leg out. Then bring the right leg in again. Put the left foot on the floor. And this is the first hip stretch. Take the right hand and push that right knee away. Now, you may want to take a block and put the left foot on a block, the right ankle over that, or the left foot on a wall and feel that hip. Now take your hands and put it right down in the middle of your right buttocks, and take the fingers and press in until you find a really sore spot. That's the piriformis muscle. Now you can work this piriformis muscle with your fingers, or you can get a tennis ball and you could like roll onto the tennis ball or something else, a ball type of thing. And you can also just do these stretches. You can take the right hand and push it away. You're going to feel that line of energy down through the thigh into the knee if you have that sensation. Now, some of you can take a strap between your legs and you can lace the fingers, and you're going to feel an even more, a deeper stretch. And each one of you is going to choose something different. The more you can stay here, the longer the better. And so you can do this throughout the day. You can also have that foot onto the side of a couch or something, or a wall, and that's a really good position too. Then with this, if some of you want to put this in motion and you want to get a little core strengthening, then you catch the knee, the right knee, and the left hand on the right foot. You lengthen out that left leg and you go up and down. You lower, your head is up. You might need to have a hand behind the head or a cushion, and you raise and lower. And then you're doing a little strengthening on the other side while still stretching on the right piriformis. You're also pulling your knee in a different direction, which for some of you, it'll be okay. And it will be good to keep the knee stretching in different ways. And for some of you, it will be hard. So just then hold the posture. So you're holding it, and then release it and let it go. Lengthen out and shake it out. Then the right foot comes to the floor. The left ankle crosses over. Again, you might want to take a block and put the block right there underneath that right foot. You can put 2 blocks there, or you can, use a cushion, or you can put your foot on the edge of a couch or the edge of a wall, whatever you're doing. Or you can just cross the ankle over, then take the left hand, push that left knee away and feel what's going on down there. Then take the left hand and find the sore spot in your left side. Which side is more sore, the right side or left side? Which side do you generally get sciatica on, and where does it start in your body? Can you feel it? Getting really sensitized and understanding what sciatica is. And otherwise you're understanding, how does my pelvis work? So you're doing this and you're pressing that knee away, and you might be lacing your fingers behind. And if you've got super flexibility, you can put your hands on top of that knee. I don't have that anymore. So I have to put my hands under my knee. And some of you won't make it there at all. And you can also use a strap behind your knee through the leg. It's called thread the needle. The foot to ankle, from knee to ankle, just flops. You don't have to worry about doing anything for that foot to ankle, but you can roll the ankle if you want. Now, those of you who want to go further and put this in motion and do a little core strengthening, you catch the foot, this is the left foot with the right hand, and the left hand goes on the knee. and you lengthen out that leg. You lift the head up and then you point and flex, or just point. You could just keep it in one direction. And you're stretching the leg, you're pulling the knee in an unusual position. You're getting us prepared for it being able to do something like pigeon. And point and flex and find it. And then hold. And just hold and feel it. Squeeze at the pelvic floor. It'll keep you there longer. You'll feel a little support from that. And then let it go. Lengthen out the arms, lengthen out the legs, and stretch, stretch, stretch. Oh, stretch one side, stretch the other side. See if you can go side to side a little bit. Just really stretch it out. And then pause. Take a couple breaths. Arms above your head. Those of you that have, shoulders that take on the tension, neck and shoulders. What happens from the wisdom of the osteopaths? There's two things. There's the muscle energy technique and the strain counter strain. And what we want to do is put our body into a neutral position in the area that has the strain. So when you bring your arms above your head, and you can see if it's better just with the elbows bent, and you put your hand up, you can take one hand and check out your neck and shoulders here, and you'll see that they're really soft and squishy. Now you have to stay here for 60 to 90 seconds at least. And if you've got really bad tension there, then you have to stay there longer. So you just set yourself up for 5 minutes. This is the wisdom of restorative yoga. Now, those of you who just want to lie here, and one of the things you can do is you feel more tension like on the right side, you can just turn your head slightly to the right, and you're going to see that that's going to take, and the neck and shoulder there are going to be even a little looser. You can also practice putting your elbow, not elbow, but forearm, palm face up over your forehead. And then take the left hand and feel it, because you're going to get another muscle there, what called the levator. This is the trapezius when your arm is out flat, and then the levator. And then you have the scalenes, and you have all these other muscles. You might want to look at the muscles of the shoulder and the neck and realize what a neutral position is. Meanwhile, the feet can come to the floor, and it doesn't really change what we're doing in the neck. And where neck and shoulders are being released. And again, if you have really serious neck and shoulder tension, then you want to do this more than one time a day. Drop the knees side to side, and everything in your shoulders and neck are just going to stay fully on the floor. And you're really, again, we're working with that pelvis. Then drop the knees to one side. Now I'm going to just show, for the sake of like showing you something new, we have gentle, moderate, or vigorous, feet apart. I'm going to go to feet so you can see my feet. Feet apart, feet, knees, and thighs on top of each other. Bottom leg comes and crosses over the top leg. And a new one that you haven't seen before is to lengthen out that left leg, bring that right leg over, take the hip and cross it. You sort of press into the hip by pressing into that right foot and rolling over. This is called the knee down twist. Now, this is going to change the position of the shoulders. So bring yourself down, walk your shoulders flat onto the floor, and turn the head opposite. Now you bring that knee up. It's called the knee down twist. You can take the left hand and hold that knee. Again, this is going to stretch the piriformis. You can feel that, and you can put your fingers in, and you can feel that little sore spot that's right in the middle of that buttocks. There's 4 little tiny muscles that come together. They're called the piriformis muscles, and the sciatic nerve goes through there. The sciatic nerve starts in the lower spine, and it goes down the leg into the foot, and it is the largest nerve in the body. So you're really the longest, the largest. That's why we have such problem with it. So I'm showing you this just because the other one doesn't get it as well as this. If you can get your leg over there and you press into that foot, you come up onto the hip as best you can on the left hip, and you're really twisting. It's a very much stronger twist than just bringing the feet together. Although just that you have to have that leg up, and then you'll feel that piriformis. But you all know spinal twists. Then come back to center. And if you were in the knee down twist, you have to press into that foot, come back to center. Lengthen out the right leg, left foot on the floor, and then you're crossing that left over. The left knee is going to the side, and your shoulders, you're kind of walking your shoulders back to center and turning the head, to the left. Now this is gonna, you'll see on the left side of your shoulder, you're gonna be relaxing the neck and shoulder pretty much. Just notice if you are, or if it feels like strain. On the right side, you're stretching it slightly, but not very much. So if you put your hands up there, you'll see some of the muscles are loose. Again, the gentle form is just feet apart, maybe even feet with a block between them, the knees, a block between the knees. And this one, you can also just cross that leg over if it doesn't work to lengthen out the leg. It's you finding your own body. That is really what yoga is about. There's so many forms, and you have to find out what your body likes and what it wants to do. This is called the knee down twist. Right hand can be held on that knee. And then coming back to center. And I forgot to tell you to breathe, but the idea is you're always breathing. You come back to center, and we're going to rock ourselves up, or roll over to your side and come up. Now here, we're going to drop the knees side to side. And then come up to the hands and knees. So 6 movements of the spine are always good and always help all of the body. So again, you notice I'm wearing a wrist brace. I have definitely a wrist issue at this point. And so I've got these, they're push-up bars. They have a push-up, a holding, a handle, and it straightens out my wrist. Sometimes you can use, like, if you've got some weights that have enough space for your hands, or you can buy what are called push-up bars. They're certainly very affordable. And moving the spine is always another thing to do for all of the body, but considering your neck and shoulders and considering stretching what you need to stretch, and then hold one direction. Now, as what I came to this morning is, what to do with the, mindfulness practice. And the first thing is, and not judging ourselves as we go through these different changes in our body, mind, and spirit. Non-judgmental moment-to-moment attention, and always bringing in the light as best we can, with non-judging of what our experience is. Taking the stance of an impartial witness to your own experience. This is not an easy thing. That's why I got the list in front of me. I have the Cliff Notes in front of me. Then other direction, whatever direction you were in, and having patience, letting things unfold in their own time. It's so hard sometimes to have patience with ourselves, in what what is our decision making, or how our body is healing from something, or something that comes up that's new and different that we don't understand. Then pause, then look side to side, because you have to do the side to side. You have to move the spine and see if you're feeling that lower back in any way. And then come to center. Folding back into child. So remember, child is not right for everyone, especially with our knees. So those of you who love it and it works for you, you're going to go all the way down and your head is going to come down and your arms can either be over your head or our palms face up at your feet. And for those of you who that doesn't work, you can try the cushion on top of your feet. But the thing for the lower back is this really does a good stretch. So work with this for a moment, work with this for at least a moment. And with that, you're finding the breath. Now, if you want to do puppy stretch, you're bringing yourself forward, and this is also good, but breathe with the intention of breathing into the lower back. And with beginner's mind, I bring us to child so that we can go on to the mindfulness practice. And, too often we let our thinking and our beliefs about what we know stop us from seeing things as they really are. So just accepting in this age that we are, which is 60 to 100, some people call it the second half of life. And what is it we need? What is the truth of our bodies at this point? We've lived a lot of life. Things have changed. We've lived so well that some of us have injuries that are going to be permanent with us. Some of us have, to replace a joint. And we know that our pelvises, they are the first thing to get brittle in osteoporosis. So a lot of, this age group, we have that kind of thing going on. So feel what's going on. Work with this posture a little bit. Rock side to side on your heels. If you're in puppy stretch, feel what's going on and try to figure out in your mind part of how this whole area works here, this lower back. And then those of you who want to go further and have the energy today, then come up and do the more serious back bend and strengthening of those arms. So you don't have to. You inhale one direction, you exhale the other. Oh. For some of you, it's a day to be still. And you might want to just find stillness. Now, I want to show you one more thing with that child, and that is that if you want to be fully supported there, you take your bolster, if you have a bolster or lots of cushions or blankets, and you pile them up so that you're totally supported, and you turn your head to the side, and then you just rest there. So I've given you all these options because each one of you needs to choose what's right for you. And that's one of the truths of beginner's mind as we are in our second half of life. And those of you in your 80s and getting close to 90 even, you're looking at, that last little half of the half. So it's pretty interesting time, and it's nice that we have a group that we can follow each other through. Okay, so those are all the different things to think about. Then if you want to play with me, you're up on your arms, then either hands and knees and come up to downward dog, or don't, whatever you need today. And you might have your hands on a table or a bed, or not be this way anyway. But what we're going to do is stretch the backs of our legs. And you can do that holding onto a wall, so stretch the backs of your legs, hold one side, because what we know is that the backs of the legs and the quads and the hamstrings are intimately connected with our lower back and how the lower back feels. Now, this won't be good for those of you trying to release your shoulders. So you might want to say, okay, my shoulders have had enough. I'm not going to work with the shoulders right now. But stretch the legs. You can lie down and, have a strap and stretch the legs, or stand up and hold onto a table, and then your shoulders won't get it, or a wall. But here you can also bend the knees and work with the lower back. Straighten the legs, bend the knees. Feel that lower back, wiggle the knees and find out what your lower back can do. Then come back down to the knees. And I want to bring up trust. It's another one of the foundations of mindfulness, and trusting yourself to know what you need, and to in any kind of fitness practice, to really know what's really right for you. So here we're going to come down to lengthen out our legs and be on our elbows. I think this feels pretty nice for the lower back, but it's not great for the shoulders. So you take a cushion or a block and you put it right underneath, all the way underneath. I know everything's kind of dark here, but my cushions are just dark blue. What can I do? And you put it underneath, and then you're held up here. Now you can take a block and put it at your forehead. Then you can stay here. Now, again, with lower backs, when you end up not feeling any of the little sensations, and you can put your hands back there and you can jiggle it, and it's loose. And so that's what you're going for. 60 to 90 seconds at least. If you've got those shoulders active, then put your head on a block or another cushion. If you've got one cushion but it's not high enough, then bring in another cushion, and get higher. So you're supporting yourself in a back bend, but you've also got the floor supporting yourself underneath here. For me, that's too high, so I'm going back. And I feel this, it's so loose. My buttocks is loose. That's going to help the sciatica. And my down at that lower back from the sacrum down, the pelvis is all, I can squeeze it and squish it and jiggle it. And that means it's loose enough to then just rest and just let it stay in that loosened position. Breathing with it. So again, in this class, you learn the things that you need to do, and you need to maybe do it twice in a day, especially if you're having a chronic pain event. Like if sciatica is up or if lower back pain is up, then you really need to give yourself permission and have the forethought to say, okay, I'm going to do this again today. And trust your intuition. And then I'm going to take this cushion out and I'm going to come down to the cerebral spinal fluid balancer. And again, we're working the whole spine and the whole balancing of the fluid that goes around the brain, goes around the spine, all the way down to the sacrum. And so wherever we get, if we get knocked a little bit, or even if we have an anxiety moment, the cerebral spinal fluid takes it on. It's very sensitive. It also holds our story, holds our history. Then rolling over to the left, we're going to stretch the quad. Now you can put your hand on your head. You can have your head on a cushion, or let's pull in a block. You can have your arm up. You can do a lot here, and you're just going to pull in that ankle. You might need to hold the pants leg if you have pants on, and you're going to stretch the quad. Now the quad is part of that system. If we were standing up, it would be the dancer. There's lots of ways to stretch the quad, but here's one that's staying on the floor or on a bed. And test it out. What side? How does this feel? And then you're going to roll onto the other side, rolling onto the other side. And how does it feel? And breathing with that and feeling. And then if one feels tighter than the other, you might, just ask for a release sort of in your consciousness, send special light to this area. Heal the cells. Look at them relaxing. Imagine, remember, imagination is really strong. Ah. And then back to center. Okay, up onto hands and knees. Now you're going to decide, again, this is using your intuition, and if you're ready to stop, I understand. But for me, I've been needing a little extra hip stretch. If you want to go into opening the shoulders on top of the cushion instead of doing this pigeon, then go take that cushion and turn onto your back and open the shoulders into so that you work with the shoulders, those of you who mentioned that. I want to work just a little bit more with the pelvis. So I want to bring my right knee in and put a cushion under my right hip and be in pigeon for a moment and just see what's going on. Bring my head down to the floor and take a couple breaths into this position. Now, if this doesn't work for you, you can always, again, I've shown you these a lot, but we'll show it to you again. You bend the back leg and you come down on your elbows, or bring a block or a cushion under your head. And you're still working with that right side, and you don't have to sit up and parallel your hips. You do the best you can with whatever your body's doing, and trust that that's what it's supposed to be. Pay attention to how you are right now, however that is, and just witness it. That's the part of the mindfulness practice called not striving for something that's not just present, the now, being in this moment. And then acceptance, seeing things as they actually are right now. And that acceptance, sometimes it's like, don't try to analyze it. It's just sort of be with it. Again, like if you're not used to having super busy weekends or something where you've been on computers for a long time or whatever, it can certainly affect what might need to heal in the next days after that. And then come back and change sides. Bring that cushion on the other side. Or a block, or a blanket, and you're down. And again, you're testing out, like, what's that knee doing, that left knee? And can you come to parallel hips? And do you need a block for your head? How high up do you want to use that block? Or do you need to bend your knees? And is that better for you to have the knees in mermaid position? Again, testing out what's happening here, testing out what is needed for your particular body, and then accepting things as they are, and we're just witnessing. So we're kind of learning to let go how we wish they were, letting go how, we want to be, where we're not that way, our bodies aren't that way. And in all of that mindfulness practice, somehow it's just plain healing, to not force anything, to be present with what is, acceptance, to go back to a beginning place of going, oh, and just learning again. And again, this is another hip stretch, but it's also a knee stretch. It's also, seeing, can my body sit like this? Then coming back around, and this is where I want to get into that position. You may want to bring your legs up onto a block, or up the wall, or this position, if it's, the right one for you, then you set yourself up in a restorative position to open your shoulders. So you're placed that blanket down and soles of the feet together. So you're stretching those inner thighs. And what's happening here to the piriformis, the sciatic nerve? It's loose. So you can support the whole thing with blocks or cushions or blankets on both sides. And you can take your hands and feel what's going on in the buttocks there. And that's where you're loosening the sciatic. Again. Now also the back and the shoulders and the neck, the whole thing, if you take your fingertips and you feel the looseness, you're going to feel what we're doing is actually retraining the muscles to be relaxed. And so much of our time is forward with our shoulders that we really need to address the tension that happens. And then the neck takes on the tension of the shoulders and what the shoulders aren't doing on their own. And so really, there's the muscles to strengthen in the back between the shoulder blades. So it's one of these, like with weights or with machines, you do this, the fly, I think it's called. So then just start to bring yourself into relaxation. And if you want to be in Shavasana, especially if you've already been in this position, then go to Shavasana. I just want to honor that we all have choices and that that's a gift. And so just honor that we are making choices that are for our highest good all the time. And sometimes it gets cloudy. Like we don't quite know what choice to make, what is for our highest good. And sometimes we want to push through something because we were taught to like just push through. And maybe it's time to not push through and just surrender. And surrender and have faith that the choice you make is a good one. Have patience with yourself. Have patience with the body. Have patience with life. And then have self-acceptance for the moment. All of these things are so much part of the mindfulness practice. And in a yoga class, you do a lot of postures when you have, the time we have. And you do meditations. But the real idea is to be able to pull out one of them when you need it. And have a yoga moment. Standing, seated, or lying down. And you may do many yoga moments throughout the day, or you may just do one. And it may be setting yourself up for 5 minutes in a posture. It's really taking the time out to do it and know that it's the right thing to do for your healing process, whatever you're working with. Body, physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, and relational all need union. It's bringing together the understandings of the mindfulness practice. And that's what yoga means. The word yoga means union, unity. So breathe and relax. Feel the stillness of this moment. Witness yourself as though you could take yourself outside and see yourself in this position, whatever position you've chosen. Feel the weight of the body on the floor and gravity. Or perhaps you're on a bed or on a chair or on a couch. Relax the jaw and the face, facial muscles, the cheeks, the forehead, the eyes. Relax the breath to just a simple breath that needs no effort. It just happens naturally. And remember, you can stay here as long as you want or be in Shavasana. You don't need to come back. You bring the hands together at the heart and connect with the whole earth, connect with all of humanity, and then connect with all women. I would like to empower women all over the world to speak their truth, because women really do know what they're talking about, and it's beginning to be accepted. We're honoring the women more, but there's a long way to go. Peace, shalom, salam, pak shanti, pache mir, maluhia, frieden, hung sung. In all the languages around the world, may we have peace. And may what we do here go out onto the world and make more peace. And then sparkle that. Oh. Breathe gratitude through the heart. Lengthen the legs out, and just perhaps if you were in that position, the reclined goddess, the supported reclined goddess, take a moment lengthening the legs out, then roll off the cushion and come into fetal posture, or take a moment in Shavasana by rolling back. I like to feel the release of the shoulders there. Then I roll over to the fetal posture, feeling it, and then walk my hands into the mermaid, or just how do I come up? Still getting myself resettled by feeling the weight of my body being pulled by gravity. Coming onto hands and knees for me, taking my left foot, pressing my hands into that left knee, tucking my back toe, brings me up, feeling myself come back.